All right, guys, here we go. Hope everyone can hear me. Hope everyone can see me. Really excited to do this presentation today. Managing a remote workforce without tears. All right, managing a remote workforce without tears. We've all been kind of thrust into doing this. This is, I know a number of you have joined multiple webinars from Candybox Marketing, talking about digital marketing, TikTok, content creation, video, branding, all that fun stuff. And yet recently, we won an award for one of the best places to work in Canada. Sorry, it's not best. What is it called? Great Place to Work. We're number 10. We've also won the awards for fastest growing in Canada. And so I've had a lot of conversations with our partners, our customers, different vendors on, hey, how do we actually do this remotely? And not just like crisis management, but actually so that it works. And so today I'm going to be showing you behind the scenes with Candybox Marketing. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be discussing anything to do with marketing today, but that's okay because I'm going to show you how we have grown our business, how we doubled our business in the last 2 years, and we're always growing about 40 to 50% every year, year over year, and how you can do the same. So I certainly don't have all the answers. I'd love to see in the chat if there's any Q&As or anything like that. So feel free to throw stuff into the chat. I'll take a look at it afterwards. And I know there's a lot of different tools out there. I'm going to be demoing some tools that we specifically use as an agency. But without any further ado, let's go for it. So our quick agenda for today is a little bit about our journey here. And so our journey over 18, 19, 20, which is really 21, but backdated, we have been a crazy fast growing company. And people go, oh, that's great. And I don't know if I agree with that statement. Fast growing, I think the word growing pains is something that a lot of companies deal with. And as you grow, things change. The way that you manage your company changes. The way that you manage your projects changes. And if you've ever been if you've ever started a company and you add one person, there's an immense amount of change that you have to go through because you have one brain, everything was kind of floating around in your brain, and then you've got two brains, and then you've got to transfer, then you've got three. After you get to 10 people, then you start needing, that terrible word, management. Then you get to 30 people, and then you're needing human resources and hiring recruitment strategies and all that stuff. And I want to give you a little bit of our journey of what this looked like. So in 2015, from the inception of our agency until 2015, we were 5 happy gummy bears. Okay, 5 people. You can kind of make it happen, and we were 100% remote. Then over 2016 all the way up to 2020, we got a physical studio space. And so we did a bit of a hybrid of in-person and people working outside the studio. And we got up from 5 to 20 people. And that was interesting. It was difficult. We had some key learnings about that. And then after that, in 2020, we know what happened, right? And then we went, fully remote again. We're still remote until our new office is ready, our new studio is ready in the next 2 months. And we went from 20 people to just under 40 people. So there's a lot of gummy bears. And then, planning for 2025, we're planning to be 60 people. And so, we've kind of gone through all stages from small, mid-sized, large, fully remote, fully in studio, fully hybrid. And we've got a lot of key learnings that we have implemented over this amount of time to not just be a fast growing company, but to try to be a great company to work for. So 2 books of inspiration that I want to give to you that has inspired me and my team to kind of make the changes that we have. One absolutely recommend is called Remote Office Not Required. Now, this is pre-pandemic book. This was revolutionary a decade ago. All right. And so I would recommend this one. There's an updated version now on Amazon. Then there's another book called The 4-Hour Work Week that has a lot of philosophies and just different ways of working there that I've taken from. Now, I don't buy everything from these books. There's some things that you should disagree with and you should find your own way to do things. But both of these books were a major inspiration for us as we are going through this transformation. Now, in regards to the agenda, we've got 4 components I want to go through today. Number 1 is I want to talk about managing people. All right, managing people and doing this in a way that is incredibly positive. And we know in this climate of not enough workers and a lot of open jobs, managing people is absolutely critical. People do not leave companies, they leave bad managers. All right. Number 2 is remote collaboration. So people say, well, you know what? I really just need to get in the same room with people. Or if you're the type of person that's like, I just need a whiteboard, it's like, don't worry, there are really cool solutions. Number 3 is managing your KPIs. If you don't know what that is, key performance indicators. What are the indicators that you use to manage your business? And lastly, automate everything. All right. So we can automate things with different people doing tasks or computers. Computers are just better at it. And I'm going to show you some really cool automation hacks. Now, I want to kind of talk about what we've gone through and why I say managing teams without tears. Remember 2019? And you'd say something like, hey, Sue, can we quickly meet in the boardroom? And then Sue would say, I'm finishing a proposal, but I can meet in an hour. Done. Remember? Done. No meeting invites and all that. You just yell at somebody. Or sorry, yell across the thing. Speak kindly to one another. Then we've got 2022, and it looks something like this. You send an email to Sue to arrange a meeting. She responds 2 hours later, because she wasn't looking at her email, and recommends 4 p.m. You can't make it, so you send an invite for tomorrow at 9 a.m. The invitation was declined. Sue is out of office. Sue emails you asking if it could be Thursday at 2 p.m. You confirm and set up a Zoom meeting, copy it in the invite, and save it in your calendar. You forgot to add Sue on the invite, so the meeting never happens. Tears. All right? So what used to be very simple things are now complex, convoluted, challenging things, and yet our companies still need to run, right? We still need to be building business, contacting customers, solving issues, building projects, designing solutions, collaborating with one another. And yet we don't have always the luxury of being in the same space. Now, today, I'm going to show you a little bit about our tech stack that we've used to solve a lot of these problems. As a quick note here, before you go and sign up for these during my presentation, I actually have links at the end of this meeting that gives you deals for these things. We are not partners with these people or anything like that. They're not paying me to talk about them. These are things that I've chosen for my business because they work. But the links that I give you, they actually provide some type of commission to our agency. And if any commission comes through from meetings or from webinars like this, we're just going to be donating it to a charity, to a local food bank charity here. So if you use the link, consider that a $200 donation for people getting food. All right. So I'm going to talk about these 6 things. So number 1 is Office Vibe for employee engagement, Miro for online collaboration, Slack for internal communication, Monday for KPI management, Fathom for financial reporting, and Google Workspace for email, calendars, and docs. So many times people want to put their entire business on one of these platforms, but just like tools, every tool is good at doing different things. So you don't want to use your, maybe like your project management tool for your employee engagement. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be the right tool for the job. So these are the things I'm going to be going through along with our philosophy about managing our hybrid workspace. Additional tools that I'll show you just near the end: Proposify, Pipedrive, Vidyard, and Calendly. And this is for automating your company. All right. So if you'd like tools, buckle up. Let's go for it. Now, if you're here today and saying, well, Darrell, you know what? We're going to be returning to the office, so I don't really need this. Well, first off, I don't really know why you attended this webinar, but thanks for coming anyways. My recommendation is, or no, sorry, not recommendation. My belief is that a 10% remote team needs a 100% remote plan. Okay, so if only 10% of your people are working outside of your office, call it 10% like the frozen chosen that are just always working outside the office, or it's a rotating 10% or 30%. You know, the most I've heard is people are saying, well, I'm going to go into the office 2 days a week. So you've got what, like, is that like 60% of your workforce remote? You absolutely need to have a 100% remote plan because people aren't there all the time. So it's not about, okay, well, it's working from the office or working from home. It's about WFA, working from anywhere. All right. So if somebody is like literally in a different city, working in business, if they're sitting in their home or if they're sitting in their office, they should have a unified experience of your company. And not just like, well, we give them access to the VPN. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a unified experience with your company. Now, what does this mean? Remember birthdays, right? Blowing on candles. Yeah, COVID fully ruined that for us. And when we like get around and, you know, sign cards secretly in the break room and pass those things around, and then all of a sudden we would surprise Greg right after lunch with a cake and we all awkwardly sing and find out who can't sing. I'm always the guy that like starts it in a ridiculously low key just for fun and to see how everybody else does. Well, this is really great if everybody's in the office because you can celebrate Greg. But what about Lindsay? Lindsay wasn't scheduled to be in the office on her birthday. Nothing happens. No card, no cake, no song. All right. And what happens if Lindsay works 100% remotely? So everybody celebrates Greg and nobody celebrates Lindsay. You start to actually segregate, you start to alienate your in-office versus non-in-office people. Now, some CEOs just say, well, tough luck. If you want to be in the office, come into the office. But this is not going to be the case for a long time where we're having more talent working remotely just to really complete a job. So we need to think about our companies as people. Not our company doesn't have people. A company is people. All right? If you're having company over, it means you're having people over. They're synonymous. Company doesn't just have humans. A company is humans. I sincerely believe this from like top of the company to the bottom of the company in whatever shape and size you want to think. It is people. So the way that you treat your people, the way that you give an experience to people is going to be the future of your company. So here's a big question. How are your people doing? How are they really doing? Do you know? There's old management styles. One is called, I think it's called like walking around management, where you literally walk around and see how people are doing. And you can pick up like visual cues. You can pick up like what people are saying or tone, or maybe they're in like a little bit late. Maybe they look like disheveled or something like that. And you find out what's going on with them. But right now with Zoom, it's kind of hard. And so we need to do more, not less, to see how our people are really doing. And not just, how are you, Greg? I'm fine. But it's like, you don't know if he's fine in all areas. There's so many different areas. How is Greg's health? How is Greg's work-life balance? How does Greg feel about the compensation? How does Greg feel about his manager? How does Greg feel about his peers? How does Greg feel about the company focus? How does Greg feel about his own performance? A lot of questions here. But sometimes we're just saying, how you doing? And we think we're going to get an honest answer. That's hilarious. So I believe that we need to invest time, resources, and applications into employee engagement. We use a program called Office Vibe. That's what I'm going to show you a little bit about today. After 5 years of using Office Vibe, we are now in the top 10 great places to work in Canada. And people have said, well, how do you get on this list of top 10? I actually think that like we have to pay to get on this list, but this is voted on by our staff. And I can honestly say is that we had to focus every single month on areas that we were not doing well at, areas that we sucked at. And then we are constantly working on that to get better. All right. So one part of Office Vibe is just anonymous feedback. All right. Do you allow people to give you anonymous feedback? This program allows people to submit feedback on a weekly basis and actually encourages it. So, this last comment, in what way do you feel communications among peers can improve? Answer, understanding who's the main internal point of contact for some project, who's leading the project. And we had problems where people weren't always sure who is leading the project. And now this was sometimes hard for people to bring up because there's leadership and there should be people that are leading the project and people that aren't leading the project. And so we regularly solicit anonymous feedback that we can talk back and forth. So it's not just that old suggestion box, you put something in and see if anybody actually reads it. We can actually talk back and forth with people anonymously. Now you may say, well, Darrell, you know what? If they're willing to submit the information, they should just be able to email. We should have the relationships and everything like that. I don't really think that's the case. I honestly don't believe that. When you're working with people remotely, sometimes they don't feel like they have the rapport or the amount of time in the company to say something that needs to be said. Also, if they're giving feedback to the manager and it's never actually getting up to senior leadership, then you have a void in communication. So I think anonymous surveys are great to actually get the pulse of what's going on. I love this quote by Peter Drucker. You can't manage what you can't measure. So anonymous polls are fine, but how do you measure that? Like, how do you measure people's feedback? Office Vibe provides an overall engagement score based on the different areas where people are rating the organization on a weekly basis. So what does this look like is that every single week, everybody gets a questionnaire and they're different. Okay. So it's not like everybody gets asked about the same thing and they could just click on it. Like they can even click along on their phones. It's not cumbersome to do it. It's not like another Survey Monkey that we're getting. And we can see over time, this is the last number of years on the timeline here, that we started off at a 7.2. And I think to date, we actually just broke the 9.0 mark. So we are 9.1. And that takes time to quickly manage over time in fixing different things. Now, how does it get this score? Is Office Vibe pre-programs the 10 different areas that people rate organizations on that are important for their work. So recognition, relationship with manager, personal growth, ambassadorship, all these things are things that you need to track, because if you're just saying, something's wrong with our company culture and you're thinking, well, I think we just need, laser tag. Let's do more laser tag. Well, that may fit their whole relationship with peers, but imagine they're just not getting good feedback. You can have laser tag every single week, but if you do not have quality feedback within your organization, laser tag is not going to fix your problems. So first, you want to find out what you're not doing well at, and you can use these things to measure over time. In this, so you can actually click into any of those top categories and see, well, if people say feedback, what area of feedback is it? Is it the frequency? Is it feedback about the organization? Is it quality of feedback? Is it suggestional feedback? Is it there's a whole bunch of different things. And as you can see on my screen here, it shows where we're doing really well and then where there's people that aren't doing so well. So the second one there, suggestions for organization. It looks like 95% of Candybox feels like we are very good at taking their suggestions, but one person doesn't. All right. And this helps me understand these scores. So if I'm thinking, okay, there's somebody in the organization that doesn't feel heard, that's better than you're at 80%. What does that even mean? Is 100% of people saying we're an 8 out of 10, or a couple people bombing the survey and everybody else is great? Those are very different metrics. Remember, you cannot manage what you can't measure. I love this quote by Richard Branson. Richard Branson, phenomenal serial entrepreneur. His quote, if you look after your team, they'll look after your customers. So if you want to improve your customer service, doing something like Office Vibe, doing something that actually goes after really good quality feedback from your team allows you to improve your team so that your company can improve. It also measures, another industry stat that we've talked about a lot is NPS. You've probably heard NPS, Net Promoter Score, right? Do you recommend this organization to friends and colleagues? And sometimes, as you can see here with some of these dips, sometimes we're not doing so well. And we got to figure out and see and look at those hard numbers and saying, why aren't people recommending us? What is the issue? What can we do to fix this? And you're going to see ups and downs. And when you start going down, you got to fix it, right? You got to figure it out. So right now we're at a 67 NPS, right? Everybody that's a 60 or over is an industry leading NPS. And you got to figure out, are people actually recommending you as a great place to work? This also gives you a breakdown of, your active promoters, people that are passive, and even in the red there, people that are detracting, people that are going to leave your organization. So you can go back here to 2019. You can tell that Candybox is going through a couple issues here where we had a number of people that were just about to leave the organization. They weren't in the right role. They weren't the right fit. And then they moved on. And so this is a graphical representation of what's going on. Now, how does this help you manage your company without tears? If somebody would have come to you and saying, you know what, everybody is about to leave, you could take a look at this chart and saying, that's not the case. Like statistically, we know that. Or vice versa. If all of your managers are saying everybody's great and you see a growing amount of detractors within your organization, you know you're not getting the right answers. Office Vibe also does one-to-ones. So we know the importance of one-to-ones, but how many of us take notes and they just kind of like go into the abyss of nothingness where nobody ever does anything about our one-to-ones? It manages our agendas, tasks, and goals within the organization, and can even align your goals with the organizational goals. So in the whole thing of managing people, it allows you to kind of set your OKRs, your goals, your big, hairy, audacious goals, and align it with the overall vision of the company. All right. Next item, collaboration. Now, this one is a personal fave, okay? Because I love when people say this. Well, it's impossible to collaborate over Zoom. You know what I always ask? What did you try? People will give you that blank stare. You didn't really try anything. Oh, okay, great. Wow, it's great. So you tried nothing and it doesn't work. Tell me more about that. It's like when your kids say, I can't find my socks. And it's like, have you looked? No. Okay, well, I'm not going to help you. But when we talk about Zoom, everybody hates Zoom, but it doesn't matter. It's not like we should love Zoom. Zoom is just the tool that we're using to get to the end. Do you remember traffic? Remember that? Like when you have to like go and sit in traffic. I live in Toronto. And so like Toronto was about an hour away from Toronto. Okay. Everywhere was traffic. Everywhere was $30, $40 of parking. And then people wouldn't show up at the meetings and they were sitting in traffic. And Zoom, we could just quickly log in and log out of meetings. You may just be eating a ham sandwich while watching this webinar as opposed to going to a conference. Pretty cool. But there are ways to improve on Zoom. But it's not Zoom itself. There's apps like Miro. Now, there's a lot of apps that are out there, okay? Miro is one of them. But for example, one month we were trying to decide what are we going to do for our February event, all right? And so we had a team chat. We brought up a Miro board, and Miro has different ways that you can organize whiteboards, whether it's sticky notes or Gantt charts or organizational flows or like all these different things, right? A whole bunch of different things. And so we were able to start just putting up sticky notes virtually on the board and using it like a whiteboard. You like whiteboards? Use Miro. It's also free, okay? So when you're doing all these different things, think about it where it's like there's always a better solution that is out there if you want to collaborate online. I think the one that was chosen here was we did virtual hot chocolate bombs, all right? So we made hot chocolate bombs to dip into milk, et cetera, et cetera. They were delicious. Miro can also integrate with Zoom, all right? So there's actually apps within Zoom's like whole marketplace that you can tie in there, and then you can tie your entire company to your Miro boards. Now, this is a free tool. There's obviously professional versions and all that stuff. This is a free tool that you could get going. So just as an example here, we were talking about our own personal CRM, customer relationship manager, and the flow of how it goes through. It was very confusing. We needed a whiteboard. So in Miro, we had this open. We were able to move things around. And this was in minutes. It doesn't take a lot of training to do this type of stuff. All right. Next item for collaboration. Candybox staff, about, gosh, I want to say 3 years ago-ish, 3, maybe 4, we went from sending about 100 internal emails a day down to 0, okay? We do not send internal emails. So if you wake up in the morning and you open up your inbox and you think that your entire life is revolving around your inbox, that means you're constantly in a state of managing your emails, all right? And just trying to be reactive. So we use Slack for all internal communication. Now, if you know Slack, go get yourself another coffee because this is a 5-minute explanation about Slack and come back for the next one. But for those who don't know Slack, Slack is amazing. Slack allows you, it's kind of like email, but it's about 1 million times better. And that is statistically proven. Slack allows you to do a ton of different things in one application for everything internal. As an example, you can use Slack to do things like direct messages. So if you just need to send a message to somebody like, do you have this file? Do you have this password? How do I do this? All that stuff. You can just do that as a direct private message in Slack. Secondly, group chats. You want to chat with 4 or 5 people? You can just go right into Slack and start DMing it like a private little chat group, or you can even click on the huddle button, which allows you to do an audio-only call. You can do PSAs, public service announcement. If it's somebody's birthday, if it's, Lindsay's birthday, okay? And everybody always celebrates their birthday in person. No, we need a virtual expression for Lindsay to be celebrated. And we put up a whole bunch of animated GIFs and things that we love about Lindsay, all right? If you got a team meeting, you've got a company announcement, you're shutting down, you're opening up, Rogers is down, right? Send out a PSA, let people know what's going on to quickly keep in contact with your entire team, whether they're in person or working remotely. You can also create what's called channels. Channels are like, imagine them like, like chat rooms, okay? So you have a new project and it's for Coca-Cola. You can create a Coca-Cola project channel, all the documents, all the conversations, all the meetings, everything just goes in that one long channel. So if you have somebody that comes on to your team and you're like, hey, join the Coca-Cola project, all of a sudden you add them to the channel and they can see everything that has ever been said, shared, done, or met about in regards to that one client account. Automations. I'm going to show a little bit about this later, but we've automated a lot of cool stuff here at Candybox Marketing using Slack. So for example, do you ask people every month for their expense reports? We could just put in Slack, hey, Slack, remind everybody with this message on the 8th of every month to submit their expenses. I click enter and Slack remembers that and sends out these public service announcements without us having to do it. Pretty cool. Video huddles. Video huddles, you can quickly do video like Zoom, or you can do audio huddles. And so as opposed to scheduling a meeting and finding all the people involved, you can say, I want to talk to all the people on the Coke project. So then you click on Coke, you click on huddle, everybody's invited and they can come in. Praise. We offer tacos on Slack. All right. It's like this little taco bot where you can say, hey, great job, Aaron. Here's 4 tacos. And they're just virtual. They're fun, but they're a way to reward people virtually without people actually going around the office and giving people real tacos. I know real tacos are better, but hey, we do the best we can. You can set reminders for things. You can do birthdays on Slack. You can do daily stand-ups. Daily stand-ups. What is that? Never thought you'd ask. Daily stand-ups. We do this at Candybox where every morning when you log in, it says, hey, what did you accomplish since Tuesday? And you can write it in. Then it says, what are you going to do today? Then it can ask you, are there any blockers? And so very quickly, your teams can start looking at everything that people are doing and saying, hey, this person is blocked on this one thing. Maybe I can help them. Or Jim is working on, this one project today. Maybe I can connect with him because I know that he's actually thinking about it. So, we used to have those like 5-minute daily huddles. Maybe you still do it. This is a virtual way of doing stand-ups. And maybe it's better if you're across time zones to do it on Slack as opposed to in person. All right. Next item. Man, you guys are going through a lot today. We are halfway through. All right. And then we're going to open up for some Q&As, probably 3/4 of the way through. Then we're going to open up for some Q&As and some chatter here. Next one is managing KPIs, managing your key performance indicators for your company. All right. I'm going to show you a bit about Monday.com, but before I do that, I want to show you why we do things like this. So in 2019, it was kind of like flying a 747. All right. So you look out the window and that's you looking at your business, seeing your employees, hearing what's being talked about in the break room, seeing your clients come in, watching like all the different things, like checking the mail. And like there was so many visual cues that we had in 2019. And then below that, we've got what I would consider our KPI dashboard. So in this plane, I'm not a pilot, but I'm going to give an estimation here that we are, 2,000 feet. So you look out the window and you say, we're 2,000 feet. You look down at the dashboard, it says 2,000 feet, and you say, that's awesome. If it says 20,000 feet, there's obviously an issue. Now in 2020, this is what happened. Okay. Q1, a little foggy. Q2, we can't see anything anymore. It's just terrible, absolutely terrible. We cannot see out the windows. So what happens when you can't see out the window of a plane? You look down at your KPI dashboard. You look down at all the controls to help you navigate this massive plane without visual cues. Now, in dealing with a remote workforce, it's more like this. I can't see anything. I have no clue what's going on. It's just black, all right? No spotlight is going to help me here. And so when dealing with a remote workforce, we really need to keep an eye on the numbers, because if our altitude says 20,000 feet, 19,000, 18,000, 17,000, we've got to do something quickly, all right, before you hit the ground. Now, you may not see it, but it's happening beneath you, all right? So when we're looking at our remote workforce, we use Monday.com to do stuff like Gantt boards, task boards, like everything to do with the management of your company can be put on something like Monday.com. Monday.com allows you to kind of build your own KPI dashboard. It's not about one software to build your KPI dashboard. Every business is different. We are a digital marketing agency that does web, search, social, brand, and multimedia. So our KPI dashboard is going to look a little bit different than somebody making muffins, all right? And so we can build KPI dashboards in Monday to help us run our business. These different graphs here, one on the blue is total utilization of our staff. So we noticed December 2021, oh my goodness, like people are overworked. And we need to see trends, because trends help us analyze and predict what is coming up. Where's our altitude? Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we about to crash? They also allow you to really customize dashboards, both like with numbers and with content. And so, on a regular basis, we go through our main dashboard about our values, our purpose, our BHAGs, number of employees, revenue growth for the year, key initiatives. This was taken a couple months ago, so we can just see it's getting going. So we're showing our entire team, where are we? As much as it's important for myself as a CEO to see how the company is doing overall, every single team member wants to know, how are we doing? Like, are we going up? Are we going down? And because that's going to actually impact them, and they want to be able to see their own successes contributing to the overall success of the company. Then each one of these dashboard items, so you see this little battery icon right there, it says key initiatives. These are initiatives that we're working on as a company to promote our growth. You can click on any one of these and they connect to individual boards with individual people. So not only is Monday a great dashboard, but you can actually go down to the individual tasks to see, okay, where is this? Why is this report the way that it is? Even with things like, what I would call managing the invisible. Remember when you'd have like a new team member that joined your office, and they're physically there, like they are sitting there with you. You know immediately, okay, this person is going to need a laptop. This person is going to need this. This person needs email and access to Slack, and you're sitting right there with the person. Keyword, sitting. And so you fill in all those gaps, prompted sometimes just by the visual cues of that person. Now they're remote. So you don't even know if they have your laptop or not. You don't see anything. And so we create checklists or templates of checklists of everything that we do to make sure that nothing is missed, whether we see the person or not. Next one. Candybox eliminated 5 days of report building with one $49 software. All right. This one I love. This one may be only for a niche amount of people, a small amount of people on this webinar, but it's incredible. It's called Fathom. Fathom does financial and KPI reporting. All right. So within Fathom, let me just pull it down here. It gives you dynamic financial reports. So it shows you your variable costs, your revenue, and your fixed costs. It shows you cumulative revenue and all this stuff that actually pulls in from third-party software. And so once again, going back to the whole thought of being in a plane, KPIs, measurement, QuickBooks, draft financial statements, you may be okay at reading them and understanding them really well, but as you grow, you need to have better visual cues to help you see when things are dipping, when things are climbing, or how quickly they're dipping or climbing. All right. So, sorry, let me go back to this for a second. So as an example, this is, our rolling revenue for the last 12 months. and it compares it against the previous years, right? So you can always see seasonally how you're doing. So any type of major change in this may mean, okay, you're going to need to hire more people. You're going to need to actually like optimize what's going on, or you need more sales. So Fathom is a way to take all that financial data that is in QuickBooks or Xero or all those things, or even just Excel sheet, and it can import and create you a number of graphs to help you make better decisions as the pilot of your business. Automation. All right, automation, and I'm going to be opening up some Q&A here. So automating is absolutely crucial right now because we want to be able to focus on the things that matter and not keep touching the things that don't. And I'm going to show you a couple of softwares that we've used as a company to automate things, and we're saving tons of time, like tons of time not doing menial tasks. Remember this slide from earlier on? Trying to book people's time? It's ridiculous. We replaced all that with Calendly. All right. I hate saying Calendly, but I'm saying it. Calendly. All right. It is a calendar booking software. You've probably seen it now that it's existed for a couple of years, where you can go in and book people's calendars. You can also synchronize it with Google Workspace, with Office 365. And so there's no longer these questions of when can you book? Can we meet here? All that stuff, attaching Zoom invitations, all that. We have eliminated a ton of hours just by implementing Calendly across our organization. And even myself, I typically do anywhere between 10 to 14 meetings a day. This used to be a full-time job at our agency of just booking calendars. Now it is solved with a $7 a month subscription to Calendly. I think they've got a free version as well too, with a couple less features, and allows us to focus on the things that matter. A lot of time is spent just booking your calendar. Stop it. $7 a month, or their freemium version, is worth its weight in gold. Next item is email. How much does your company spend time on email? Like actually spend time on email. A lot of people in business spend like half of their day looking, checking, and replying to email. When people come at Candybox Marketing, we actually train them on email philosophies to help unclutter their inbox, get down to only what matters, and keep everything unread, as opposed to you constantly putting things into folders. I'm dropping this in the chat I'm dropping this below. So bit.ly, so bit.ly/Candybox email training. Feel free to use this. It's an article I wrote on LinkedIn. We use it for everything within training on Gmail and properly managing email accounts. All right, similar methods can be used at Outlook as well too, 365. Next thing is video emails. So those like meetings that could have been in an email, but then there's some emails that really do need to be a meeting. Like you want to give feedback, you want to describe, heart, all those things. My recommendation is actually cut out the meeting and just send a video. So we use a program called Vidyard, and it's a Chrome extension. It's free. And every once in a while, if you just need to share something, maybe it's like 2 or 3 minutes, you don't need to book that 30-minute meeting to give 3 minutes of feedback. So we actually use Vidyard to quickly record us doing something, whether it's training. This is me providing feedback on one of our new build outs and buildings to one of our clients. And we go through everything here. Maybe it's a bug report, maybe it's feedback on a comp or like a new design. And so we send video emails. It's free, it's fast, and you allow people to watch this during the time that they want. Proposify. Proposify literally probably saves me, my goodness, half my days. All right. I'm in sales at Candybox Marketing and Business Development, and I spend a lot of time listening to customers, coming up with solutions, and sending them proposals. Proposify automates all of that. So it has a boilerplate content of all of our pricing, our products, our services, our terms, and all of that stuff. And I can quickly generate a proposal within about 5 minutes without having to like copy and paste a Word document. We keep everything templated, so all the different salespeople at Candybox use the same software to send out proposals. And then we send out these things and they track them automatically online. They track signatures, approvals, and notifications. All right. Proposify probably saves our entire sales team half of their time by automating the entire proposal process. Pipedrive. Now, this is something that actually integrates with Proposify. within sales, and I'm not sure if you have a sales CRM. Some people like HubSpot, Salesforce. Pipedrive is an option. Now, Pipedrive is something that we absolutely love because it gives you one dashboard, one page that shows you everything that's important for today. All right. You can move around deals. You can update deals. It integrates directly with Proposify. And so as deals are created, they come across here. And so Pipedrive is like that CRM that salespeople actually like using because of all of its cool automations and tools. If you're manually trying to think about what deal you've got to follow up on or different activities that you need to do within your sales process, you probably need a tool like Pipedrive to help you do it. Now, all these things, as I kind of point out here, they connect. When I create a proposal, it goes to Pipedrive. When something is signed on Pipedrive, it creates a new project in Monday. When it's created in Monday, it lets people on Slack know that it's happening. All these apps, all right, are incredibly powerful because they connect with one another. And the more that you can connect these apps, it cuts down the human error or just cuts down all the time that you need to kind of figure out your own life so that you can automate your company and make everything awesome. So my question to you is not what is your crisis plan for remote working, because we've all been through that before. We all know like, hey, it's really difficult to do remote working, and people people that have like been forced to do remote working have just done it like begrudgingly and don't actually like it. But like, so like, let's stop thinking about crisis plan and ask, what is your remote work strategy? How are you going to beat your competition with remote working? How are you going to produce better products and better services with your remote task force? Guys, thank you so much for attending today. I'd like to open it up for Q&A, and I just see just one right now. But feel free to put stuff in Q&A or in the chat. I'll look at both here. And so just feel free to send it through. We've got a bunch of people on this webinar. And now, if you're interested in any of these things, Office 5, Monday, Pipedrive, I've got a couple. These are just referral links. I'm letting you know just publicly, we get compensated, but I'm just donating all to charity because I'm not here to sell these to you today. I'm not trying to do affiliate marketing. We are just, we are a growth focused agency. Focus on trying to help companies grow, and sometimes workforce automation and helping people like just automate their remote workplaces is part of it. So my apologies that this had nothing to do about the marketing. You guys knew that that was the case because you did sign up for the webinar. But if you want to do this, we are going to get funds from it, and then we're going to be donating this to our local food bank so that they can provide food to families and kids in need. So thank you so much. I'm going to answer some questions here. I got a question. Doesn't Monday.com do the same as Pipedrive? Really good question. So Monday.com actually, they do say they do the same thing, but it's not native to Monday. So, and as much as I love Monday.com, it says, hey, you can create boards and move people through the deals and all that stuff. But Pipedrive is more built for the sales process. So it has sales dashboards already built for things like lead time, average deal value, like stages in the proposal cycle. So it's more customized than Monday. Monday is more of a generic platform that you can try to build something like Pipedrive, and you could probably get like 50% there. But Pipedrive has a lot more industry focus on selling and proposals, communication. It also like ties in with email and different users to be very specific for sales. So if you're like a single salesperson, you've got like 20 deals, 30 deals, maybe you can just do that off of Monday. But once you start getting like above 50 or 100 deals, multiple salespeople, you need better reports. You need to understand what stages and the probability of things are at. Then I would be looking at a more advanced tool like Pipedrive. Thank you for that question. Emily Spencer said, amazing webinar with 3 fire emojis. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate that. That's great. Any other questions here, guys? Feel free to throw them in the chat. But really do appreciate it. Make sure to continue signing up for, if you've got this from our newsletter, that's great. If you don't have a regular newsletter and you just saw this on LinkedIn, feel free to go to candyboxmarketing.com and sign up for a monthly newsletter where we're announcing things like these webinars. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We give these things out for free, and we hope that you love them. If you're on Instagram, you can probably find us there. If you're on TikTok, yes, I know you're on TikTok. You know, it's an interesting stat. The average American is on TikTok for 91 minutes a day. Isn't that crazy? 91 minutes. So if you're one of those people on TikTok, just search my name, Darrell Keyser. You're going to find a lot of videos. It's a lot of fun. I've got another comment here from my friend Chris. Awesome. Big fan of Vidyard here. Can you tell us a couple cool stories about using any of these tools? Like an instance where Vidyard was used that was epic. Well, let me actually not a Vidyard one, but Proposify. So Proposify, it has notifications based on what people are doing and when. And there's been so many times, Chris, this is not just like a one-time thing. There's been a lot of times where like I'll get a notification like on my watch and it just says like Chris has just viewed the proposal for his website, like right now. So it's like awesome. So I just call up Chris and sometimes it's been weeks since I sent the proposal. So I call them up and they're like, oh my gosh, Darrell, I'm looking at your proposal like right now. And I'm like, yeah, I know you are. Let me walk you through it. And I literally walk them through the proposal, ask their questions, do like the entire objective handling and all that stuff on the phone while they're looking at the proposal, because I know that that's happening. So it's kind of like, you know, in the good old days, you used to like, you know, ship off a proposal or send a PDF and being like, I wonder if they got it. I wonder if they read it. I wonder if they've even opened it. I have a full dashboard to see, did you get the email? Did you open the email? Did you click on the link? What pages did you look at? And sometimes I'll go into a meeting and I'll take a look at their stats and it says they've spent 3 minutes looking at the pricing page, but 0 minutes on everything else. So that I'm like, so I know going into it, they are a price only customer, and I need to talk to them about the value that we're providing. Okay. And so I've got that like competitive intelligence. So huge success there. Also with Vidyard, sometimes I do lead prospecting on it, where if I find a company, I'm like, hey, I want to do work for them. I just quickly click record and I show them stuff on their website that's broken or that we could do better, or social media and stuff like that, and send it off. And all the time the feedback is, Darrell, thank you so much for the time. Like I was shocked to get an email about my own digital marketing that was customized. Like it's very ad hoc. So it's almost like making a random phone call and somebody just picking up and providing free advice. You know, like it's pretty cool. So I think that was pretty epic. Looking through a couple other questions and comments here. Lots of thanks. No problem, guys. This is great. Perfect. All right. How do you manage the workload for someone who gets COVID and maybe sick for 1.1 to 1.5 weeks? My friend, I cannot answer that. That is a great question. I have a wonderful HR company that I reference with. Their name is Castle HR. So shout out to Castle HR that we ask these types of questions. They always say that Google doesn't have an HR degree in our area. And so instead of Googling stuff, I actually just have a consultant with Castle HR and I just try to figure that out. Now, in regards to what Candybox does, I mean, we have paid sick days. We extended our sick days during COVID to help people that were dealing with that. We also provided days that people could book off to go get vaccines to help prevent COVID. And then we, also just used sympathy in our hearts, where if somebody's sick, we're just humans. Now, I think that it's great that if you build policies and stuff like that around these things, and it sounds like we're kind of going into our, I think it's 37th wave of COVID, and people are all getting COVID again. So great question. And I think it's something that we as business owners needs to think about. Anyways, guys, really want to appreciate everybody for attending today. Thank you that it was completely booked out, all the registrations. We got our 100 registrations for this webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on email. I'm on my phone. I'm on. Okay. So feel free to message me. I'll answer the best that I can. And also, if you have other tools that you'd recommend in the same line of tools that we're talking about, I'm not talking like spamming people, with links here, but feel free to add it in the comments below, whether you're seeing this on YouTube, whether you're looking at this on Instagram. Just put in the comments below, because I think as a community, we'd all benefit from learning more about your tools. There's a ton of different alternative tools out there that do these things. These are just things that we have tried, tested, and loved for making this work. Guys, thanks so much and have a fantastic week. Talk to you soon.